Ooh, I gotta turn this one off. So yesterday I forged a little bit. It's probably here. Yeah, forged a little bit ahead, adding in some of the. You see, essentially, because this is they're under a giant forest canopy, so theoretically, there's some green light filtering down onto all the surfaces from above. Not super bright, but not non-zero either. Hey! Like the mouse emote, rat emote. Hey Sexter, how are you? Oh boy, I heard you like rats, huh? So I off stream because I'm gonna be doing the let's see here, bring this back. I'm gonna be doing this a little bit where I'm I have to face this way. So I'm gonna be doing this a little bit where in order to meet certain time metrics, I'm going to work a little bit off stream. Oh yeah, got it cut. Yeah, shaved a few pounds just right there. Yeah, it's quite normal tracking at least, but there are some interesting things about it. Like the sides are actually quite short compared to like the middle, and there's some sort of this like horse mane of hair down the middle, which sort of comes to a point. Not a mullet, but something that is it does look good. It looks good because the canvas is so amazing and getting thinner by the second. I'm like cutting out all carbs, so I'm just eating like nuts and like canned fish basically. I'm getting sunken in. Okay. So I started adding green light to the scene. Make sure you still get like 100 grams carbs a day minimum. What are you, the carb police? I get 100 carbs just making my kids breakfast. 100 grams of carbs. It's like a bag of chips or something. I'm not actually cutting out all carbs. Like yesterday I had like tortillas and stuff. This is not a no carb thing. 5 bananas or 4 bags of chips. That seems like a lot of carbs. I mean, what do I know? If I just cut out drinking, there's a huge drop in the, you know. I'm already like noticing differences. I know it's all like water weight or whatever, but I don't know if it was all quite well understood how much of my water weight was actually wine weight. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's not a big deal. I already look younger thanks to my younger looking haircut. All right, so last night off stream, I continued adding some of this green light And at first it looks weird. But once you get to the point where it's like half of it has green light, you start to realize it's actually doing its job. So like here, it just looks like there's moss growing on their backs, right? But around about here, we can see that because it's consistent, it's starting to pull its weight. And we'll see how it goes, just like with everything else. The green light is on its own layer. If it feels like I went too far, it's looking more integrated with, and it's like I have to, because I have no confidence yet with this sort of, like, I've never drawn green light filtering in through a canopy. But theoretically, this would be like, I want to see if this works. If it works, then I could think of things to apply this to, right? You know? But I want to make sure it works first. But I think it's working. What's cool is that it's not a difficult calculation. So the green, or like the RGB sliders, the green has its own slider. So kind of like the blue. It's a little overpowered, but if you nudge it along, you get that green light effect. I just have to make sure that I keep all those green lights on their own layers, because I don't want to overcommit to something that I later on have misgivings about. All right, so let's proceed. I ended up watching some of the whatever Hyrule Warriors trailer, and looks like there's a ton of Bokoblin. There's like a giant Moblin and Bokoblin battle that was in the trailer. So seeing that, I was like, okay. No, it feels like this isn't just coming completely out of nowhere, even though it is. Here's a little... Let me make sure. Let's see here. Hey, Danny. In this, I've got Link's foot somehow behind this thing, but the thing is supposed to be behind his foot. Let's figure out what we can do. No? Okay. man, I'm confused. All right, I'm just going to erase some of this stuff out because it doesn't make sense. Okay, that's Link. Yeah, sometimes stuff just gets colored on the wrong layer. Oop. I don't know why that would happen. There's only hundreds and hundreds of layers. I got a haircut. I got a haircut a couple hours ago. And you love it? And you love it? Thank you. Okay. This looks so much darker now than it did yesterday, but if we just so imagine it looked more like this. This is like cheating it with a blend mode, but eventually we'll hone in the sliders and get it looking at the proper brightness. Okay, so let's apply. It's so many layers. This is by far too many. So this will very likely be the last of like the big epic ones, because this isn't even, you know what's weird is like this isn't even a high resolution document. This is like 1920 by 1080. So it's like I'm putting all this detail into something that is ultimately like not even, it's not even 4K. It's like standard HD. Okay, adding green light. No, I just go by eyeballing. This is about the equation. Plus extra green gets us this, and so that means this is the color. If I did that right at all. It's probably more like that. Oh, that's the wrong tool. Makes sense why it's not laggy. Yes, that's true. And lag is death as far as like something I can deal with. I can't. It's like if one of my eyes got poked out, I'd be like, "Ugh, that's annoying." But I can still draw. If the stream, if like things get laggy, I'm like, "All right, shut it down. It's time to revolt." Now adding green light. Now I don't think there would be like literally green light rim lighting everything. It's a little bit of a like a cinematic hack. I think it's still effective and close enough to the truth to be useful. Since I can't literally load a rendering of art. Hey, what's going on? I know you. I follow you on Semi-Psychedelic has joined the chat, and they are I'm fairly certain we live in the same, because I live in the valley, and I'm fairly certain you do too, given you actually post photos of the of like places I've been to, if I'm not mistaken. It could be weird. Could be weird that I don't. Do I draw with an iPad when I'm outdoors? It's hard to draw in the sun. Instagram, I believe. Yes, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate the crossover efforts. Very difficult to as you live in the valley too, yeah. It's very difficult to I could have like followers here and like no followers here on Twitch, where I have like no followers, or even fewer on YouTube. And it doesn't matter. I don't care. But it's the whole live streaming, like the fan art thing, is something I do for my sanity, and then the live streaming aspect is something I do to avoid AI allegations, I guess, but also to sort of get into more of a readiness for eventually I'd like to teach. SFE, yep, that's it. I was born in Tarzana. I probably shouldn't say stuff like that, but yeah, I'm very much old head when it comes to the valley. You have more followers than me here, so that's something. Yeah, but I'm not. AI is controlling the stylus. Turns out I'm AI generated, actually. Yeah, having more followers. If I have more followers than anybody else, it's it can't really mean anything, because I'm streaming constantly. And listen, okay, if you stream more often than I do and you have less followers than me, then that might mean something. But if I'm streaming like twice a day and like getting nothing. Born and raised in the Northeast, and not San Fernando and not Sun Valley, but between there. Okay, understood. You have more followers on Instagram. I think Instagram for me has the most followers, but I won't I'd like to think this is like education and art first, and then if any other additional things come with time, then that's nice. No one would know the city unless they're from the SFE, but and it's never good news. But we have Richie C. Valens, so there's that. Richie Valens, so there's that. Okay. I just found you randomly while searching LOZ art, so this is cool. Very good. I'm glad this now. Was that on Twitch or was it on Instagram? Theoretically, these hashtags work, and again, I'm going to stop talking about the metrics and stuff. I work in advertising for companies that are supposed to know what they're doing, and they employ me, and I'm a freelancer, so when they employ me, I'm sort of obligated to trust the process, trust them in their process. And for the longest time, that worked out. But the world continues to change, and it feels like you ever been in a situation where someone said, trust me, and so you did, and then you realized that you shouldn't have. And that's it was just a sinking feeling I was having that I should make backup plans. And so I guess teaching is sort of a backup plan, but it'll take a long time before that sort of kicks off. These days, everybody and their mother has a course or something. I find all that to be really cringe, but gratefully at this point, even if nothing else, I feel like I'm learning again, because I didn't really feel that way a lot these past few years, just doing storyboards for commercials. They better be a Zelda fan. Here, I'm gonna get the band hammer ready in case they answer wrong. Alright, very good. Passed the test. Oh, and you've got the Zelda emotes. Alright. How do you not know Sextra? Since Sextra is like #1 Zelda fan artist. And Avail has joined the chat, who is very, very talented Zelda creator. Love the Zelda emotes. Well, what do we all think about the Nintendo Direct announcements today? Yep. You know what, let me get some Zelda music pumping. We're spoiled for choice these days. Maybe not that one. No, not that one. Let's do Zelda and Chill. Take us back to the classic Zelda and Chill. Love a good hack and slash Zelda. I'm excited to see where they take the new app. In garage features, yes. I'm excited about the garage. I didn't really catch the broadcast. And more accurately, I did not catch the broadcast. But luckily, the internet was there minutes later, sort of recapping everything. So everything I kind of know without having seen anything directly. I feel like a lot of people were expecting movie announcements and stuff, which of course didn't materialize. And I'm okay with that, but I kind of feel like no news is good news. I don't know, I just don't feel confident about knowing how I know, from experience, knowing what I know about how decisions get made. it could go very well or it could go very wrong. They obviously did well porting over the Mario movie, the Mario franchise, into a success. So, decent track record. But do we extend the track record of others to people who are in a similar situation? I don't know about that. I'm on Hopium. Okay, yeah. Once they show a direct for the Zelda movie, I think we're about to see Jack Black again. Yeah. Hopefully they don't... Hopefully there's someone at Nintendo sort of looking at the forums, sort of being like, can we use this for testing? Are we allowed to take the opinions of people who will see the movie and apply that logic? That would be smart, right? If we didn't ignore what people are saying is a bad idea. I guess hopium is the appropriate response. It's well out of our sphere of control in any case. Look how pixelated this is. Why did I draw this so small? It's like... This is it's like epic in scale, except I forgot to make it high resolution. So I had a friend that worked at MPC. Yeah, say a prayer. And they did the VFX for the Sonic movie. Okay, he was like, I could see how that ugly Sonic design got the green light. Exactly. There isn't like there ends up being this what do they call that? It's a groupthink, where it's like if the right person says, well, I like this, and then like it's politically expedient for everybody else in the room to say like, well, they're, you know, I don't want to take a risk and go against this other guy. I don't have anything to gain from that. And, you know, the more this falls, we're already behind schedule. The more it falls behind schedule, the later I'm going to have to stay. And I've got a vacation coming up in 3 weeks, you know. Blah, blah, blah. As a result, because of things that have nothing to do with creative decisions or movie decisions, like they get greenlit until something gets leaked, right? And then fans see it. Imagine how things would have gone if instead of like, what if what was intended, which was, you know, Sonic, the look of Sonic being something that no one knew about until like the day the movie was released. But instead, like, someone, thankfully, right? Isn't that how it happened? Someone leaked it, and then people were like, what the fuck is this? And then they're like, oh, yeah, we always meant to change it, you know, or whatever, right? Those poor people had to change every scene after the backlash. Not surprised. And despite being very well received, the production on the teaser did it. Okay, I mean, same sort of deal. But even worse, because it's like movie's already done, and then you have to change the thing for everything, and that's no good. And it's not their fault, right? So like the people who actually execute don't get to be the people who take credit or have to suffer any fallout from the bad decisions that other people are making. It bothers me. So it's possible that something like that could happen. Yeah, exactly. There was a time when the mill, also rest in peace, was my best client. This was in 2012. From 2011 to like 2013, the mill was my best client. They had a executive creative producer who was a fan of my work and sort of understood that, like, hey, this makes sense. Let's storyboard things so that we know what we're making before we actually make it. So we can make a plan, so we can make a proper bid, so we can make a proper budget, so we can actually make money. And so for years I was brought in on damn near everything that they could bring me on. That doesn't feel like the right color. An event, something happened, and I blame it on the Technicolor acquisition. That looks better. Maybe too bright. Because it was about that time. They got acquired by Technicolor. And the old ECD was out. New person comes in. New person's like, I don't like storyboards. They get in the way of real creative directors doing amazing things that directors do, you know. I'm paraphrasing. I have no idea if anybody actually said that, but some people like to walk in and not have other people make suggestions and or provide solutions. Sort of silly. And that's okay. We know how it turned out for them. But all VFX is sort of like they were actively engaged in like a race to the bottom kind of situation, and then so much like active outsourcing and that stuff is, you know, I mean, it represents an opportunity for other countries, I suppose. I really try not to be like, you know, all that stuff is bad, you know. It's like, I understand why it happens and all that, but it's not better for me if Hollywood sort of dematerializes and has this diaspora that goes to every other corner of the globe. Especially if it's just to save money. I get it, but I would have preferred things go differently. Oh well. Did I see Life After Pi? Oh, that's that documentary of Rhythm and Hues, right? So no, I didn't. But I'm like that guy that like knows about things but never actually experienced them directly. Yeah, I remember as a result, because that's basically when all that stuff was happening, was when I was very busy at the mill. And I've worked at MPC as well in Los Angeles. Again, rest in peace. They did a Last of Us video game trailer and brought me in on it. But yeah, when I was working at the mill, I was doing storyboards for the Call of Duty. Call of Duty had many cinematic cutscenes in. It was Call of Duty Ghosts, and then they had a sequel afterward as well that I did some boards for. Not all of them though. Ghost was cool as hell. Okay, I'm glad you liked it. You love the cinematic cutscenes, right? But that's a great example of a project where I got a nice. Someone from Infinity Ward, I think, one of the creative directors, went out of his way to look me up because I wasn't employed by Infinity Ward, or was it Treyarch, whatever it was. I wasn't employed by them. I was employed by the mill, so it was like a third party vendor. Was me, but he went out of the way to write me a nice letter saying we loved the storyboards you did. That was pretty cool. That said, what ends up happening on like a video game trailer is the company that the companies that do the advertising are not the companies that like literally produce the video game. They all this stuff just ends up being weirdly farmed out in ways where it's sort of like it's a little bit of a head scratcher because I'm not sure there's a big gain in, like, you hire people who work in advertising professionally, but they do a very bad job sometimes. Not my clients. My clients are geniuses, but like, we've seen what can happen if like you get like everybody, who's that? Kylie Jenner like buys a Pepsi and then the world riots or something like that. It's like, I'm not sure if any of that was actually fair to anybody, but in the end, advertising can be tough, and the people who are supposed to know what they're doing often don't, or like feel like they should. But I don't know, all creative work, I suppose, can be that way. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the scripts for Call of Duty Ghosts would come in, and they would be, they'd like all this action, like cool action. So we'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. So we'd be storyboarding all this cool action, and then like the creative directors would come back from lunch and they'd look at the scripts and be like, yo, this isn't what we're scoped for. We can't do all this action. You know, what we're supposed to be doing is supposed to be like abstract and moody, kind of like David Finchery, very much sort of telling the emotion of the story and not actually showing the story. And like, artistically speaking, I'm like, well, that's cool too. Like, I like that. But as a result, like, we throw away our work like on a daily basis. We just get like new scripts that like because it's like new creative writing comes down the pipeline, but then we don't get any more time. So there's just this ever increasing sense of urgency that like, hey, we need to get this stuff done now, and yet we have to start over every morning. So it's always very frustrating. It's like literally every single video game project is like that. I guess writing for video games is different than writing for advertising. Or something. I don't know why it would be. But it is assumed to be so. One time, we never had any direct conflict, but I was in conflict with one of the CG supervisors at the mill. And blessedly, I don't remember his name or even his face, really. But he was constantly, and I understand like where they're coming from. Like these guys are responsible for figuring out how to get great. Hey Kiki, come on in. I did get a haircut. Do you like it?
You look handsome more.
I look more handsome? Do I look like Henry Danger?
You look like Captain Man instead.
I look like Captain Man?
In the show.
In the show. Thanks for the Prinkle. Do you want to bring your backpack in and get some homework started? Okay, cheers. Alright, there we go. I'm excited for your softball, yeah. Alright, I'm still streaming. But we'll see. Anyway. The CG supervisor, CG soup, was super, he was just getting more and more annoyed with the storyboard artists by the day because we were like drawing cool stuff, and he just looked at us as if we were trying to make life harder for him. And meanwhile, it's like, my job is not to make this guy happy. My job is to, if anything, do the opposite of make him happy by insisting and selling through cool things that should be on the screen. And like, I could just see him like imploding as we turned in our boards, and he eventually he just stopped looking, like he couldn't deal with the stress. So he stopped looking, and they sort of segregated away the story team from the actual like production pipeline. And one day I got a script that was actually fucking cool, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking crush this thing in one day. So I just destroyed it. Like, I was like, I didn't eat lunch, like, and you know, they're not telling me not to eat lunch, but I'm like, I'm not getting up from this desk until this is done. And like, I'm just like, did nothing but drink coffee and draw, you know, and I knocked out this amazing looking board, and I turned it in, and like one of the production assistants like sees that it's done, or, you know, but there's a difference between done and then like ready to send to client. It was done and ready for us to review, but not ready for client to review. Well, she didn't know that. And she just saw, hey, this looks awesome. I know we're behind schedule. Client will be happy to see this. So she sent it to client, and client instantly sent it back saying approved, you know. And then the CG team, like, who like meandered in after like 6 hours of internal meetings that had nothing to do with the project, had to deal with fallout of the crazy storyboard that I had approved that they then had to deal with. And they were complaining about it. They were like, oh my god, look, the tank, there's a shot here of the tank treads touching the ground. How are we supposed to do that? And I was just like, man, you guys complain about everything. You can't throw some dust on it or something like that. Like, you know, I don't know. They never hesitated to complain. But that was a badass fucking scene, and I did a great job on it. And they managed. They did it right. They did it fine. Anyway, all that is to say that You dodged a bullet not getting into VFX, because then you'd have to deal with jerks like me making life hard for you. All right, let's chat more art, huh? I was. They wanted me to not work at all somehow, to do my job without doing my job. I don't think I said this, but like I remember thinking at the time, like, how about I turn in a blank page? Can you guys do nothing? Can you literally like execute nothing? Is that like in your wheelhouse? They would have preferred that though. Hey, Keeks. Do you need to turn on a light so you can work?
Well, I want you to bring. Can you bring me some milk, please?
I'll get you some milk. All right, we're gonna do a quick BRB. I'm gonna get some milk for my kiddo. Here, this looks like I think I have something for this. There we go. I like to throw this up whenever. Yeah.
This is for a phone, like my old store that most of the chicken wears will do. And then
Oh, that's
there's
cute.
fun things for the younger kids. They will buy, and
That's
they
cute.
will get money and me. But most of the money is supposed to be for field trips.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe sometimes we can even use that money to buy other things.
I love it, Kiki. Let me go get you some milk. I want you to do your homework, and we'll chat about that more. And that's great. I bet you can sell that to
Me and Mom are
Grandma and
driving
Grandpa. Oh, that's good. Okay.
in the car, not the canal.
I will be right back. I will be right back.
Here and here.
Milk. Do your milk and drink your homework.
No. I'm supposed to do my homework and drink my milk.
Now, maybe move that milk over where your elbow isn't gonna bump it. Okay.
Look, like stuff.
This haircut will take some time to even out, but the kiddos like it. Let's see. It's kind of fun. It'll be hard to see, but it's like longer in the middle. All right. How far can we jam on this? And with all this, I've been forgetting to add some very important highlights to things. And it's a little bit of a hack, but theoretically, the highlight is going to go in the direction where the sun. See, the canopy is filtering all this green, and that's going to be very diffuse. But theoretically, there's still a part of the canopy. Like if it's a big expanse, the canopy is an expanse. Well, theoretically, one part of that expanse is going to be brighter than other parts. Since like that must be true because the sun is a point in the sky beyond that expanse. And since the sun is going to be essentially coming from up and down this sort of middle open section, there's actually going to be a distinct shaft of light. Going to pick up. So there's going to essentially 3 light sources. The blue light coming from behind the camera. The green filtered light coming from the top. The direct sunlight, which I haven't drawn yet. And then even beyond that, it gets crazy, is reflected light from the direct sunlight. So see this patch of ground here, where that gets lit up, it's going to send up. There's going to be that's kind of green looking here. Bright rays of yellow light coming down, but then it's going to kick up. All this warm light illuminating all this stuff. Kind of like that. Right? So there's going to be this really dramatic section right here in the middle that we'll get to. Note to self, don't tell any old war stories of the VFX days. Put the whole chat to sleep. But it's okay. In a few minutes, my wife will come home with the other kid, and I will have to dash anyway. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate people popping in anyway. I'm glad you're doodling. I just think, like, for me, it's funny to like be the old man who's like, I'm gonna tell you a story about back in the day, and then like everybody wanders away, and I'm just like unaware. So I'm just like, where are you going?
I need a ruler for that.
Okay, get a ruler. It's like even my daughter is like trying to sneak out. You're so boring, Dad. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Like, you can't leave. I'm moving slow, but this is coming together. Back to Link. That's a drawing that Robbie did.
Oh.
Or Robbie's teacher did. Here, I'll show you. Let me show the wonderful chat. This was in my son's lovely... Here, I'll make this big. Here we go. Art class at my son's preschool. Yeah. Apparently it's a cup of coffee. Yeah. I tried to suss it out. I was like, Robbie, you drew that? Or did your teacher draw that? And she's like, my teacher, you know, she gave it to me. I'm like, very creative liberties. I don't, I wouldn't begrudge anybody a minor vice. Yeah. Anyway. Oh no, what did I just do? What just happened? We're moving in slow motion. This isn't good. Let me do a quick save. Say a prayer. Oh, there's weird... It's struggling. Let me quit out some stuff. I mean, in some ways, it makes sense. There has to be an upper limit to this stuff, right? Let me see here. The, okay, well, it seemed to have helped. It could have been from the cam switch. Oh. Yeah, you know, OBS seems happy enough so far, but... Okay. Where you going, Kiki? Oh, great. Okay. Mm-hmm. A little bit of highlight. It's weird, even though, like, the hat isn't supposed to be shiny, necessarily. It, somehow, adding highlights to these materials just always looks good. Oh, let me switch this over. Oop, wrong thing there. It just adds a little emphasis and shape. Now the sword highlight I'm going to get to later, because that's going to be a very significant... see, the light from the light is going to come down and reflect off the sword and then bounce off some of this stuff over here. Theoretically I can pull that off. Hey, Twilight. How you doing? Twilight, I'm afraid I'm not going to go much longer. It's going to be time for me to wrap up. But as you know, the VODs exist and will be up. I got a nice haircut. It's the... this is starting to look real good. Yes, it's starting to come around on the other side. I find with my process, a lot of this stuff has like an ugly duckling sort of phase. That once it enters it, you sort of be like, oh, well, sort of like, well, they were cute when they were a kid, I guess, and that's just how it goes. You know, too bad, but then after some time, comes together, a little work. All these guys are falling. Okay, let me do some light on this back bridge. Yeah, you go from I can't draw to I am the best. Yeah, well, that's a day in the life of me. It's Max's. That's how it is for me. Anyway, I'm excited to get this knocked out. Because I feel it's, comparatively, since when it started, it's sort of in the home stretch. It really is. And especially since I'm giving myself permission now to work on it a bit off stream. Because I figure all I really have to do is save the stages. So like incremental saves, iterative saves, so that the progress still gets sort of saved, and I can recap that when the next stream happens, right? There's a truth that sort of documenting the process is a little bit at odds with the speed of the process. In terms of time availability, like I'm not always available to stream, but I often have like 15 minutes here and there to sort of make progress on stuff. So if I just save as I go in different iterations of the file, we don't miss out on anything. Not really. And as long as I'm doing some streaming at all, it'll be a good recap of the process. What it won't do is keep track of the time so much, but the streaming is not really great as far as keeping track of the time because I do so much time gabbing, which is the fun part, but can definitely move faster. Some of the better stretches that I've done, like when I did that battle sketch of Riju and the Ganon studies I did with the chat totally just off. And that was due to technical reasons. Sometimes Avail spends more time reading chat than playing her game. Like, I get it. I feel like my brother does a good job of when he streams, just from what I've noticed, he does a good job of having the trust that the chat will sort of chat with itself a little bit, so that he concentrates a little bit pretty well on his experience and providing his own sort of like, whoa, that didn't work or whatever, commenting on things. And then allows the there's a good amount of trust in the chat to just like roast him in like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 way. You got real caught up in the Zelda movie talk. I definitely who's my bro? I'll drop a link real quick. My bro IRL is, he goes by Boxer. I have to remind myself not to be obvious about his his actual name, which isn't anything embarrassing. It's just not as cool as my name. Let's see here. Boxer. There we go. So here's. Oh, I have to post it over here. What's up, girl?
I'm just looking at the picture you showing up.
Oh yeah, that's that's his name. Here's my channel, and then because for some reason I can't type in my own chat, but there we go. That's my bro. He variety streams and does, like, he's a good gamer. And he encouraged me to get into the streaming and the twitching. High five. Oh, okay. Homework, please. So, a good normal person. He's a good normal person who opted not to make a professional career out of being like an artist or a writer, unlike everybody else in our family. Like a normal he's, which is funny because he's like I think I have ADHD. I'm gonna go get diagnosed and assessed and stuff, and it turns out like it's like, which is weird because compared to everybody else in the family, he is the normal one. So I'm like, well, what does this mean for like me and my mom and my dad, who are far like removed from any sense of normalness compared to him? So he's weird because he's normal in the family, normal guy. But I think his streams are fun. I'm a bad neighbor in that I can't really find enough time to watch other people's streams. Right now the struggle is find time to do my own streams and like get the shit done that I need to do. I'll get there eventually. I'll catch up, but it's I'd say it's worth it to check out his stream at least once for the curiosity, because if you don't know that I have a brother, and so Boxer is 7 years younger than me, but it's like a lot of people, well, some people point out that like he has a lot of gray hair compared to me, and I don't. All my gray hair is here, but some people think he's the handsome one. I think he definitely has a swagger about him, a sort of normal charm. He resembles the actually he's in the right light he looks a lot like Tom Cruise, but not the light of his camera. But he came as Tom Cruise from Risky Business to one of my Halloween parties, so he's like in a he's just in like a button-up shirt and sunglasses and underwear, like tidy whities, and I think he took home like first place costume. There probably is some stress to be normal. But, you know, as soon as he got out into the real world, he's like, oh no, it's just my family. Most people are not a big deal. Best viewers. Bye-bye. Yes.
It says your name, Max.
It says my name on your homework.
Yeah, I could bring it to you to show closer. Max.
Max ran 15 meters this morning. This afternoon, he ran 48 meters. Does it count as a run if you go for 15 meters? Nizakara, welcome. 48 meters. That sounds closer to a run to me. That's good. Okay, do your math. And see the silly people.
You're in the homework.
I'm in the homework. Yeah. Is that the Squidward laugh?
Yeah.
You love it.
It makes me laugh.
It. SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
You really do sound Squidward.
Nizukara, I always feel like I say this, but I may not be going much longer. This is just sort of a pickup stream in between. Here, let's see something. My wife is probably texting me that people are coming over. Oh. Well, not yet. Yeah, let's keep going. No distractions. Hope you've been okay. Making progress here. So this is a good example here. Like, I'm putting essentially rim green light, sort of meant to represent like a global green light on this guy. But he's sitting, or he's standing next to a tree. Now, theoretically, that tree is really going to block a lot of the light that would be available globally. Like pretty much everything, all the light that would be available behind him is blocked. The light in front of him is still there. Well, I'm adding it nonetheless for the sake of consistency, because that's something they might do if it was on like a stage, for instance. This is not just about like, well, what would they do? What would be the effect of it in real life? Because the real life effect of things is often lame, right? A better question to ask would be, what would they do if it was the Lord of the Rings, or a cool stage play like Wicked, which I haven't seen, but apparently has like crazy production value. It's okay to make the contrivances, they justify themselves, So, even though the way I'm drawing it isn't accurate to what nature would exactly make happen, I'm not running a simulation necessarily. I'm not running a simulation of real life. I'm trying to run a simulation of like a movie production. I lost you a tree. I know you're joking, but I'm sort of speaking to the debate that goes on in my own head, where it was like, if I do this, do I lose the sense of realism? And it always comes back to realism doesn't even look real if you just go for that. It just doesn't look good. Like, make it look good, and if it looks good, then it looks real. And anyway, because it's on a different layer, I can always dial it back, right? So if it really needed to be lessened, that's a possibility. But until we get there, you know, maybe he's leaning really far out, you know. This is a funny old, and this sort of like really this sort of like outs me in all of my ignorance, because it's like I don't even know. I don't think from what I've got, like I was like, when I saw like these characters first originally a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, they probably live in like villages and, you know, have their own little societies, and, you know, I don't know. I sort of put them all together like they were, you know, akin to Star Wars characters like Jawas or Ewoks or something. Like evil. What if they're just evil Ewoks, right? I guess that's a good analogy. So these guys were evil Ewoks. I just assumed, right? And now I'm not sure. But even in like Lord of the Rings, the orcs were sort of like organized into societies and had hierarchies, right? So there must be something to it. Anyway, I justified it out of a sense of like, well, this will be cool and it will give me more ideas. Because otherwise you just have bad guys doing bad guy stuff. Like in The Hobbit, they got the Goblin Village or something. Exactly. In my mind, it's like Link did something and then they like kidnapped Zelda and he had to like sneak in to get her or something. And then meanwhile, like the Bokoblin king, you know, decided he wanted her for a bride. You know, this is like, you know, the tropes, right? Or like, you know, she has to like marry this guy, you know, or something, you know. And Link is like, hell no. But with just a little bit of setting, things started to organize themselves and sort of be like, well, if that's the case, then you would have this over here and this over here. And before you knew it, I was drawing little baby bokoblins, and they're super cute. And that kind of has like a Miyazaki kind of feel, right? Like there's not good and evil necessarily in nature, right? Everybody's from their perspective, they're all doing the right thing. Despite my chatter, I'm pleased with the progress being made right now. Almost as if it's not the full story. Right, exactly. Like when I did the... Oh, I cropped out of it. But the... Where's the one I did? Octorok Chase. Yeah, here. So, like, the story for this one was sort of like... They come across, like, a baby Octorok. The writer, director, artist chooses to show you what you want to see, but not as it is. It's just better if, like, there can be, like, it's like a misdirect, right? Right, we've seen this, but it's a the story behind this was like they're like hanging out, and then like a little baby Octorok like comes out of nowhere, and it's like nothing, but it's not even worth. It's like not worth like fighting, can't hurt anything, but it starts like shooting pellets at Link, right, and pissing him off. So he goes and like chucks a big rock at it and scares it off, and then the next moment like the ground is shaking, and like the giant mama Octorok comes around the corner, and like or they're saving it for later to show its significance. Exactly. No, you plant a seed, and then by the time the story comes back, like it's grown into a tree, right? But like motivation is so important, right? And here, instead of having this like they're just attacking them to attack them, well, here we sort of get a context that like Link and Zelda are like in their space, right? So maybe they're justified in attacking or being attacked, right? There's a car. This is in like dark mode right now, but the You think you're done with your homework?
Yep.
Why don't you do one more page?
Wait, I remember. Mrs. Borg could send the spelling words on to the parents last Wednesday, and we're supposed to practice them from that Wednesday to this Friday.
Okay. Don't go anywhere yet. Look for those spelling words. If they're not there, I will email your teacher about them. In the meanwhile, I want you to do more homework. Find more math to do.
In there and it's no.
Yeah, I think your mommy got rid of them accidentally. Why don't you do one more page of math homework? Because you're going to have to do extra spelling tomorrow, because we can't find those words right now.
But I don't know how to do it.
Okay, if you don't know how to do it, don't worry about it. Okay, if you've done all you can do, you can done all you can do. Okay, so, we know I basically draw and paint these in dark. Whoa, not that bright. Jeez. But eventually, later on, we tweak them to be more... I mean, this isn't right at all either, because there's still more light sources left to be added. But this is probably a better sneak peek of like where it's going. Especially with some of these, like there's not a lot much more to do to these guys. Most of the new stuff was going to come down like right here, where we're going to get the shaft of light and more reflected light and stuff. And then some stuff in the background, a lot of finessing. And I am I like working on this piece. It's just, it is so much work for something that will only get as many likes or fewer than something that like takes 3 hours. And it's not all about the likes, of course, but it's gonna look really cool when it gets to the finish stage, but it's still, right now we're still in this mode. Man, when you go from that state, when you go from that preview mode back to this mode, oh, I think it's an insane portfolio. I agree with that. I think it sells the competence. But I have to step on the gas, because it's like, they'll ask, man, how long did that take you? And I'll be like, oh yeah, it's just a sketch, just a loose, rough sketch. Yeah, it could be that like one way of counting is to go back and no, where it's like, and that's really what people want. Something I'm realizing, it's like people are hungrier for the snack bites more than like the 300-hour Tableau panoramics. They'd rather see more like, ooh, do Zelda in a bikini. I'm like, I get it too, but it's like, I promise more of that after I get this out of the way. That way I can say, well, I did the spinach, so now here's the dessert, I'm gonna go to a trip where people will be on all sorts of swimwear coming up, and I'll use that as good inspiration. I'm gonna take my iPad and tablet and stuff. I'll do some sketching. I'm going even out of a little bit of a protest. My wife figured out how to do this essentially on the cheap. So she says, but it's still me taking whatever, like 5 days off work. I can't. And it's like the world's worst possible time to be taking time off as a I mean, or it's the best time. What if I didn't go and then there was no work anyway, I grumble and gripe too much, but it's just the nature of being a freelancer, is you never know what you're going to get, and it creates anxiety. You could miss something big, and it's like, oh, well, that was your shot. It's happened to me before, or it felt like it did. I could turn this in. I'd be like, find a way to get like the Zelda director's email address or something like that. Let's say that was possible, and I got it. I send it out, and then I go off on vacation. He's like, hey, I need you now. Can you come into a meeting? And I'm just like, nope. Sorry, I'm not available. I wish I was, but no, I'm not. But that would vindicate me in all of my paranoia. I would have been right. I was right to be worried. It's so silly. I knew it. I knew something bad was going to happen eventually. We should have listened to me when I said we shouldn't do anything. It's like, no. Bad things will always happen. Did my iPad came with a stylus? No, I had to buy the Apple Pencil. Those things are ridiculous. They're like $100. You can get decent knockoffs, but they don't have all the features like tilt and rotation. So I had to spring for the real version. I don't use my iPad much, but I eventually remembered that I did enjoy... See, I don't enjoy Procreate as a good one-to-one analog of my workflow from like Photoshop or Painter specifically. But Adobe Fresco actually is interesting. And I think I'm going to start practicing more with that. And so hopefully by the time we are back from the trippy trip, there will be some content that I can share that I made on Adobe Fresco, which is a decent program. Has some tools that I liked. And I haven't picked it up in like 4 years or something like that. So it's entirely possible that the tools are vastly improved, or maybe they have my cool brushes or something like that, or something equivalent. Would be awesome if it did. Highlights on every surface. Max, do you think I could make money with my drawing skills? Yes. However, I thought maybe do drawings for Reddit commissions. Please do that. Then tell me how to do it. I think you should. And I mean, you don't appear to have like a laborious process. So I think you could get in there with, see what you can get away with as far as, I mean, I don't know. Wait a second. Twilight. Yours is laborious. Twilight, I got you confused a little bit, and I hope you don't take offense. But now I'm recalling the Mario sketch that you posted this morning. Are you attempting to make a foray into the professional art field? It's incredibly competitive. I'm not going to detour anybody from something that is their passion for sure. I would suggest seeing if we could graduate you a bit from the super sketchy style into something. So I actually think you just need to commit more. I think your next step, I think you draw well. I think your next step just needs to be a little bit more like, how can I get there with a little more confidence in your application? So I feel like you can translate a reference into a drawing very well. I'm trying to be polite about it. Definitely, most people, I think, who are hiring Redditors for commissions probably want to see like a good amount of digital art sort of fluency. And right now, what I see with you is a lot of sketchbook stuff. Do you understand the difference? But I'm not the gatekeeper of who's ready and who's not. Nuzakara, yours are laborious. I want to see more. I want to see more commitment. More commitment to the. What's next for Nuzakara? I see a lot of in your stuff. I feel like I see a lot of second guessing, like a lot of inhibition. Not so much inhibition that the drawings go bad. It's just it feels like there's like where your instinct is, but then you pull back and you just go a little safe for some reason. It's like, okay, this was more like I want this to look stylized, but then I end up shaving off the stuff that gives me anxiety until it becomes something that feels like it's a little more mainstream and palpable. But I would suggest you should not default to that. Recognize that I feel that you were defaulting to that, and that you should I want to see more risk. All right, that's just my thought. So that was for Nuzakara. Twilight Farmer Boy, I don't think you all right, take it or leave it. That was that. But usually want to draw new things instead of finishing something. Right. You sort of feel, it sort of feels like you're starting out a little bit with a serious drawing habit. Usually want to draw new things instead of finishing something. I think I should start drawing for others if I really want to continue this. Also, I noticed that I draw more. That is on point about how you feel. You don't trust your gut as much. That is pretty much exactly what I was saying. But what I'm saying is that is coming out in your art. Okay. So, now this isn't speaking, this is like coming from someone who like, I drink too much, and I definitely am, as of like 3 days ago, trying to dry out because I drink too much. But, sometimes if there's just, okay, I'm not saying like alcohol is the solution, because it's not, but like I'm an inhibited person, okay? And sometimes I am paralyzed by things so much that without the aid of, like, without alcohol, like I never would have asked out my wife, right? You know, and you know, and then here I am theoretically living happily ever after. So it's like sometimes it's like don't take this as license to like do drugs or drink or anything like that. But it is a if there's some way to be more casual about being less attached to the, like, if something being important means we like build up the consequences to where it's like, well, failing is going to hurt a lot, so I don't want to do that, so I just don't want to do it. And think about things that can help you get past that, even if it's, I don't know, it's like more practice, studying artists that are very edgy, like very extreme, maybe, I don't know. But and then let's see, for Twilight, Twilight, I think what's happening with you is you're sort of learning quickly, because you're definitely drawing better than when you first started showing your material. Then, you know, I guess it's been a couple of months now. So I think you have a good raw drawing talent. You're seeing that like you're making more and more progress. So it sort of makes sense for you to be like, well, I'm better now than this stupid sketch that I started. Let me start something else. And like, hey, this one turned out good too. So you guys have the opposite problem where it's like Twilight is marching farther and farther into a sort of where confidence is building at such a rapid pace that he's like, I'm ready to do commissions and stuff like that. And I'm like, homie, I haven't even seen like a pen sketch from you, you know, or, you know, let's, I'm not saying pump the brakes, but it's like, you know, you are in a place where it's like, professional, like where you're charging for work and stuff like that is, there's all sorts of market out there. So like, you know, see where you can get with it. But, you know, you can, I don't know. I think if nothing else, like if you're selling your work online, going a little bit more digital is probably your best idea, because that way you can just email it easily instead of scanning things and having we're taking pictures of stuff. That feels like that would not add value. Focused with building that foundation. I think you, Nizakara, I think you have a good sense of the fundamentals. I'm not seeing like a lot of like, oh, you're just skipping the fundamentals, that's your problem. I feel like I think you're at a place that was very close to me when I was starting out with my work. So I don't and I mean like professionally speaking. So this is like, you know, a good while back, but also sort of like, I know I was very focused on the things that I wasn't good at. But making those bigger in my head wasn't something that wasn't justified. Looking back, it wasn't justified. For all of you, the homework is, there's no homework, but the, you know, just keep it up. Keep iterating. Twilight says, I want to go on for the rake style, but on different subjects, if you know what I mean. Yeah, literally use them as inspiration now. Yeah, I just noticed that this drawing takes time. I took this week off to actually see what I want with this art thing. Really great to get your perspective. Yeah, you know, no one gets homework. It's fine. You forgot to give us homework. There's no homework. Life is hard enough with everything we deal with. And yeah, seriously, bills. And it's like I can't think of I really can't think of a worse time in my entire artistic career to like be a professional artist right now. It is so bad out there right now. It's really, really, really bad. Like the best people are struggling to find work. So, you know, focus on just getting through. Like, I mean, we could all take our chances, I suppose, but like if I was starting out right now, I probably wouldn't just jump right in to become like, I'm doing the artist thing, I gotta do it. It's a big uphill battle at this point. And just think of it as like a storm. I think it'll pass. It'll pass, it'll get easier down the road, but you know, only if you sort of shelter a little bit right now. If you risk too much now, you might get your ass kicked and carry that with you, and that might be harder. I don't know. Let me add some green light to these little goobers back here. Twilight, I'm glad you're looking into Rake's stuff. I mean, his stuff is like so saleable, and Obviously, he's got like a huge audience. I don't know how anybody could do better that stuff than him. But like a great sort of go-to example of like if that was something that I could do. Welcome back, Nizakaro. If that was something that I could do, where like ideally, wait, no, I'm not giving anybody homework. There's no homework. There's no homework other than like just keep. Meditate a little bit maybe on what I said, You have a full-time job, it's quite all right. Okay, but I'm kind of addicted to watching streams and a bit seeing what I can draw. Good. The extent where I should probably spend more time with family, friends, social relationships. I feel like they don't go hand in hand very well. My wife often points out that art, because my wife had to study child development and stuff like that. And she points out that art is what they call self-play. Okay, that's not really something you do with... Now, the streaming is different. That makes it a little different. So that's helpful for me because it's like I don't feel isolated anymore. But it's self-play. We want homework. But let me put it this way. My teacher, Nathan Fowkes, used to say that there was something about the sacrifice that was important. And he would define sacrifice as giving up something important, right? You give up something important for something even more important, right? So that's the way you have to think about it. And if you're giving up the more important thing for the less important thing, that's not a sacrifice, and then it's not something you should do. So it is sort of like, where is it with your priorities? Like if you're sacrificing something that's not worth sacrificing, then it's not a sacrifice, right? So think about it that way a little bit. Like, I sacrifice my downtime, when I could be like pumping iron at the gym, or reading books, like to do that too. I sacrifice my downtime to do this, but it's giving up an important thing for an even more important thing. But it's about that perspective. Like you have to be able to see that in time, this is the better. Yeah. Don't be intimidated. But I will pump your drawing skills up. Flex with me. Grab your stylus. Here we go. Yeah, something like that. How do I do this? There we go. Oh God, that's bad. Here, I'm gonna. You know what? This one's getting deleted. No one gets to see that one. The other day, my wife was like, "Flex," and I'm like, "I am flexing. I am flexing." Gotta do what you, I don't know. All right. I don't know. Some people maybe are making the wrong transaction in the sacrifice thing. It's kind of up to you. Prioritize. I mean, like if you have children, that need your attention and love, and you're saying no, and so you go off and you do drawings instead. That feels like it's like a comfortable avoidance of a priority that gives you more anxiety. As we know, it's like, I don't mind streaming while my daughter does homework. She's old enough now where she can handle her own stuff. But like, as soon as my wife comes in, it's like stream over bite, because it's not worth that. You understand? What you mentioned about risk a bit more, I'm starting to see that pattern through a few people I've spoken to. Interesting. They've made that comment towards you or just in their own lives? towards you. I think be... Okay, here's a good... I often make analogies about how in nature there's this periodic shedding of the skin, all right? You can't grow without... Now, it's like, it's entirely possible. For instance, some animals shed their skin. It's an inevitable necessity. However, we've seen, like in those nature documentaries and stuff like that, sometimes it goes wrong, and animals can become trapped in like the shred of their skin, or it's like for whatever reason, like a clam or a crab cannot fully molt out of its shell, and it gets stuck and it dies, you know. But if it doesn't leave its shell, it's going to die anyway. The pain of it's always a painful, like a metamorphosis is always painful. It's always painful. But you really don't have any other choice. To stay unmetamorphosized is also a death sentence in a way, right? So you have to have courage, all right? You have to shed that skin, to emerge and molt and make that transformation, all right? It's an important thing. Apparently I'm telling you, and apparently other people are telling you too. That's where you're going through painful metamorphosis. It's an important... This is always the analogy. I often come back to this. The mascot of Children's Hospital in LA is a butterfly, which is it's a symbol of metamorphosis. There's a dark side to the metamorphosis. There absolutely is, in the change and the pain that is required to go on a transformational healing journey, okay? And once embarked on, it cannot stop, and you have to go through it. You have to go through the pain and make the change. But on the other side, you can emerge and become a beautiful butterfly, you know. And it lives for like 24 hours. But it's the point of changing, right? Just something to think about. All right, Squirrel Weaver, congrats. You have registered your business name for your Etsy shop, and your sales use tax permit is registered. So good to go. All right, we love to see the business news. I sign up for Etsy, I open the page, turn my VPN off, then I sign up. 8 minutes later. Wait, let's unclap that out. Etsy sends me an email saying they permanently suspended my account. I have never opened an Etsy shop. That sounds like bad news. Like a bad sign. It still thought you were under VPN. Interesting. You're in appeal limbo. Oh my god. All right, well... Good luck. Good luck. Well, fingers crossed for you on that. Oh, I hear my wife and kiddo coming home, so we're going to finish up. Let me do this thing. All right. Do a quick thumbnail. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to catch you next time. Adios.